Hello, good morning, children. This is Amir Ramzan Beg. I am going to teach you now 10th class English, second unit of lesson. This second unit of lesson is named as Wit and Humor. Only you know that well what is wit and what is humor. And regarding this, the funny incidents, taking the funny incidents, here one act play is given to you. That one act play name is The Dear Departed. That is a small drama, that is a play written by here our dramatist is William Stanley Houghton. William Stanley Houghton. He is a dramatist. So the Dear Departed, it is a very interesting play, one act play given to you. Actually, wit and humor which gives that funny and which makes funny by characters, by the dialogues. Readers and the audience, they would get funny, they would feel some humor. That is the story. Departed, you know that departed means what is the meaning of that? Separated, divided, this like meaning comes. There departed means which is lovable, maybe things or the persons, that people they divided or separated. That meaning it comes here, went away, that meaning comes here. Here, writer of this play logically gave the title here. That means by the end of the story, you can understand who is departed, either the things or the lovable persons. You will understand at the end of the story, at the end of the drama by reading this. Here, characters are given to you in this one act play. Mrs. Amelia Slater, Mrs. Elizabeth Jordan, both are sisters, and Henry Slater, Ben Jordan. These are husbands of these two sisters, Amelia Slater and Elizabeth Jordan. Next, another character is here, Victoria Slater, a girl of 10 years. This girl is a daughter of Amelia Slater, and Abel Merriweather. He is the father of these two sisters. These are the characters, and in funny manner, in funny way, this drama is given to you. And what is going around the society, the selfish and the immorality and cheating, cunning, all these mentalities, psychological feelings of cheating others. These we can see, and especially for the lovable people, how the children they are going to cheat their parents and some of them. These things we are going to find out in this drama. So the Dear Departed, let us see that in the beginning already I have given you the characters. Now that is one act play. I will tell you after this part 1 and part 2 how it the writer how it creates that how many scenes will be there, how the action will be going on the stage. This is I will explain that after the drama, that one act play completion. Here this Dear Departed is in two parts. First part we are going to know that. Let me read out to you. See that the curtain, it rises slowly. There we are going to see that when the curtain rises, Mrs. Slater is seen laying the table. She is a vigorous plump and red-faced, vulgar woman, prepared to do any amount of straight talking to get her own way. To get her own way. It is the meaning you how to know that. She is in black. She goes to the window, opens it, and calls into the street. At the beginning of this drama on the stage, you children imagine that this is one act play. It is going to perform on the stage. Then we have to go like this here. Curtain rises. Then one woman comes and she looks into the street. She calls someone there, and that woman was in. That is, she is a vigorous. Vigorous means some energetic, and another plump means that what do you call that? Fat, and red-faced woman. Vulgar woman means that somewhat the character that something is rude behavior. Having the rude behavior. Vulgar means this woman, she appears in the beginning of the drama, and she doesn't care anybody or anything. When she wants to fulfill her wish. That is the meaning here. Straight talking to get her own way. This is the idiomatic expression given to you. That means she doesn't care anybody, whatever she wants to do. So she goes to the window and she calls through the window. To whom she is calling? Now that dialogues are given to you, you see that. Mrs. Slater, that is a woman, sharply she calls that Victoria, Victoria. D, A, here. Here, children, you have to know that D capital letter is given there, Y, E given there, D, A, here, H, E, R, here given there. But this is the old fashion of English. Do you here? I think you got it. Do you here? It's a correct English. Come in, will you? This is a calling by Mrs. Slater. Victoria, a precocious girl often dressed in colors, and she enters the house. Precocious means some talented, intelligent girl she is. And she enters the room. Always she wanted to be in a colorful dress. Now you see that Mrs. Slater again, she tells him, I am amazed at you. I am amazed at you. That means I am surprised. Why? Victoria, I really am. Be off now. Be off now. Go away now. And change your dress before your Aunt Elizabeth and your Uncle Ben come. It would never do for them to find you in colors with grandfather lying dead upstairs. So we have to understand that Mrs. Slater, she calls her daughter who is in colorful dress and she instructs her to change her dress. Why? Because the girl's aunt and uncle are coming the house. Why? Because the girl's grandfather, he was dead, and for that purpose they are coming here, and that grandfather was in upstairs. Mrs. Slater tells these things to her daughter Victoria, that daughter of Mrs. Slater. What are they coming for? They haven't been here for ages. For ages means for years. Here we have to understand, for years, for many years. Girl asks a question to her mother. Mrs. Slater, they are coming to talk over poor grandpa's affairs. Poor grandpa's affairs means property or money. That kind of meaning we have to take there. Your father sent them a telegram. As soon as we found he was dead, a noise is heard. So when she was talking like this, a noise she heard. She gave that information to the girl. And next you see that why they are coming here. Who are coming here? Victoria's uncle and aunt. Both they were coming. Mrs. Slater again says, now you see that Henry enters here. Henry, who is Henry? Henry is husband of this Mrs. Slater. I'm wondering if they all come at all. When you and Elizabeth quarreled, she said she would never set foot in your house again. Set foot, it is a phrasal word that is. She would never come back. She would never enter, never put her foot in that house. So here Henry reminds when both sisters they quarreled in the past, and he was going to recall that who is that Mrs. Jordan's words here, what she promised that day. Now Mrs. Slater says she will come fast enough after her share of whatever father's father has left. You know how hard she can be when she likes. Where she gets it from, I can't tell. That means here that Mrs. Jordan is coming here to share the property of her father's. That is why she is coming here. Henry says, I suppose it is in the family. I suppose it is in the family. And a pause, a gap. There is a gap given. And where are my slippers? Henry asked his wife, Mrs. Slater. Then Mrs. Slater says, in the kitchen. But you want a new pair. Those old ones are nearly worn out. Worn out means which are faded, which are completely in damage, under repair, nearly breaking down. You don't seem to realize what it is costing me to bear up like I am doing. Then my heart is fit to break when I see the little trifles, little trifles that belonged to father lying around, and think he will never use them again. Briskly means quickly, fast. Here, you would better wear these slippers of my father's now. It is lucky. He had just got a new pair. You have to read it. He had just got a new pair. So here a discussion going on about the slippers and Henry's slippers. They are completely they became very faded and that are called nearly worn out, and that is why Mrs. Slater suggested him to get the new slippers. Those are new and those are in the kitchen. That slippers are new slippers of her father. He did not use them. That is why she is suggesting her husband to use that slippers. Henry says, they will be very small for me, my dear. So that slippers are very small for me, he said. Mrs. Slater, they will stretch, they will expand that slippers, won't they? I am not going to have them wasted. That means she does not want to waste that slippers, new slippers. In bracket, you see that she has finished laying the table, some table here. And then, Henry, I have been thinking about that bureau of my father, so that is in his bedroom. And you know, I always wanted to have it after he died. So she recalls and reminds about the bureau. A bureau means that is a desk, that it is a writing desk with drawers. Some bureau is in father's room in upstairs. She wanted to have that bureau to get it down because she always wanted it after her father's death. Now it was the situation there. Then Henry says, you must arrange with Elizabeth when you are dividing things up. So Henry suggested her his wife. What he suggested here, after Mrs. Elizabeth, when she comes, they would divide these things. He suggested like this. Mrs. Slater said, Elizabeth's that sharp, she will see I am after it, and we will drive a hard bargain over it. Hard bargain, that it will be very difficult to discuss with that, who is that, her sister Elizabeth Jordan. She told like this, no, it is not possible to discuss and to solve that problem. It will be hard bargain. That means they won't get any possible situation to come to the solution. Mrs. Slater said like this, yeah. Henry said, perhaps she has got her eye on the bureau as well, he told. Then Mrs. Slater, she has got her eye on the bureau as well. That means Mrs. Jordan, she would get her eye on this bureau if she comes. Mrs. Slater, she has never been here since father bought it. If it was only down here instead of in his room, she would never guess it was not our own. So Mrs. Slater said very clearly, Mrs. Slater, what she told here, after buying that bureau by her father, her sister has never come. She has ever come here. That is why she could not understand whose bureau it was. That it is a property, that is an article in the house of furniture, and she could not know. That is the thing. Henry said, startled, some confused, and Amelia, he rises here. Now you see that. Mrs. Slater, Henry, why shouldn't we bring that bureau down here now? And we can do it before they come. They means here, in examination the question will be asked, who do you think they are? What does they refer to? They means here, Mrs. Slater's sister Elizabeth and her husband Ben Jordan. Plural form, you have to know that here. Before they come here. That means before this Elizabeth Jordan and Ben Jordan, before they come here, Mrs. Slater, she wanted to take the bureau down from the upstairs. Henry says like this here, stupefied. He said inside that it is stupefied. He is stunned, confused. I wouldn't care to, he said. Then Mrs. Slater, don't look so daft. Why not? Daft, D-A-F-T, daft means in a stupid manner, in a silly manner. Don't look like this here. She got some irritation and angry. Henry said, "It does not seem delicate somehow." Henry said, "Mrs. Slater, we could have put that shabby old chest of drawers upstairs where the bureau is now." Where the bureau is now. That means replacing that. Where the bureau is now, they wanted to put that shabby old chest of drawers. That is a untied. Shabby means SHABBY. Shabby means untied, unclean. That it is. Bureau is now. Elizabeth could have that and welcome. I have always wanted to get rid of it. To remove it. And she points to the drawers. Mrs. Slater, she points out. Then Henry says, "Suppose they come when we are doing it?" He asked the question in doubt. That means when they were changing that bureau down from the upstairs, if they come, they means here Mrs. Jordan and Ben Jordan. If they come at the time, what will happen? Mrs. Slater said, "I will fasten the front door. Get your coat off, Henry. We will change it." Then she gave an idea. I will fasten means I will put the door that and I will lock the door. She told it very clearly. And Mrs. Slater goes out to fasten the front door. Henry takes his coat off. Mrs. Slater reappears. So meanwhile, here he took off his shirt and then she again reappears here in the house. Mrs. Slater, "I will run up and move the chairs out of the way. Those are on the way. Those are in the way." That she wanted to remove a side of that chairs. Then Mrs. Slater says, I will fasten." Okay, this is over. Then after says Mrs. Slater, "I will run up and move the chairs out of the way." This is okay. Victoria appears dressed according to her mother's instructions. So in the beginning of the drama, we came to know that Mrs. Slater, she gave instructions to Victoria to change her dress. Now that girl appears in front of these parents. Then Victoria says, that girl says like this, "What have you got your coat off for father?" That she doubted. That means her father removed his coat. She asked her the question, "Why did you remove the coat?" Henry said, "Mother and I are going to bring grandfather's bureau down here." He explained that mother and I are. Now children observe that B form, mother and I. Actually you may think I are. It is I am. You may think like this here. Actually after I, yam comes. But mother and I. Here B form is changed as are. So this is correct in editing part. So mother and I are going to bring grandfather's bureau down here. He told it very clearly. Then Victoria says, "Are you planning to pinch it?" Pinch means stealing. So that is a little girl. She understood what his father and mother are going to do that. Then Henry said, "Shocked, no, my child. Grandpa gave it to your mother before he died." Victoria said, this morning, she expressed her dialogue. Children, part 1 remaining lesson, let us come to know that in the next video.